we shall never know peace. At least when it comes to the WNBA space. It was this ad that Angel put out. And I don't know if this is part of a larger campaign where it's going to be similar themes in similar places. But because of where the WNBA All-Star Game is, and because of who plays on the Indiana Fever in the home city of the WNBA All-Star Game, it's going to raise some eyebrows, let's say.
Angel Reese strode into the spotlight as if she were walking onto a stage that had been created especially for her, only to find that the stage crew had already packed up, the lights had gone out, and the audience had left early. The true twist is that she genuinely believed she could duplicate Caitlin Clark's powers, simply by hanging close enough to take in the reflection, as if being near greatness was equivalent to earning it, rather than with talent or genuine attraction. Baby goat over baby giraffe. A comment below. Let's go if you're riding with CC.
Angel, me bound, prayer, Reese. You only relevant because you keep bringing up my precious CC. You want to pull up with your Billboard Reebok ad in Indiana talking about you in her trap. Man, stop it. You out of there. You hear me? My precious CC don't be in no trap. Real talk. You hear me? At the end of the day, she don't do those type of things. Yes. You hear me? Don't put that with her name at the end of the day. If you be in a trap, that's your business. You hear me? Whatever the case may be, that ain't nothing to be proud of.
Angel Reese's big coming out party was supposed to take place during the 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend. She finally had the opportunity to emerge from Caitlin Clark's shadow and shine in this moment. That's what she told herself anyway. She intended to launch her I'm in Your City marketing campaign, release her signature Reebok sneaker, and transform Clark's hometown of Indianapolis into her own playground. It seemed like the ideal plan on paper. However, reality delivered a severe lesson. You cannot mimic someone else's charisma, and you most surely cannot use that to develop your brand.
Here, everyone with credit card debt is lining up to get the Angel Reese signature shoe. Here, it gives you the power of the rebound. Bang! Again! Burn! Will she save it? No! What everyone's paid to see, the Angel Reese rebound. Bang! Kelsey Plum makes the shot, she'll get more money. Bang! We show up and show out for our rebounding queen. Yes! Bang! I love rebounds. Yes!
Hey, Jimmy, did you see that last rebound? It was so sick.
Yes, she did it again. Rebound!
Let's talk about the sneaker in the room, the Angel Reese One, a new Reebok release that was hailed as the future of women's basketball footwear. It came in two hues, Diamond Dust and Me Bounce. Reebok made a significant investment, placing advertisements throughout the All-Star festivities and scheduling the Me Bounce release for maximum visibility. Unfortunately for them, publicity does not always translate into excitement, particularly when your timing goes horribly wrong.
Literally, debut. It's got to be when she plays Caitlin Clark. So they obviously ended up debuting at All-Star Weekend because Caitlin didn't play when they were in Chicago, and Caitlin didn't play, or Caitlin's not playing in this game, so they're debuting at All-Star Weekend. The plan was to literally go and use Caitlin Clark for the launch of it.
Reese's strategy was based on the vital but seriously wrong premise that Caitlin Clark's All-Star appearance would draw a ton of attention and result in significant sales. She didn't make an effort to win over fans by herself. She placed a wager that she would be elevated simply by being in Clark's orbit and sharing the court. It wasn't about competing or even outshining Clark. It was about following in the footsteps of someone who already holds the most authority in the room.
It's one of those things where it's like it's very clear that one side is absolutely trying to milk whatever rivalry there is. Whatever rivalry there is, it is one side trying to do everything they can to keep it together because that is where they're going to be at their most relevant.
However, Destiny had other ideas. Shortly before the All-Star break, Clark hurt his groin, forcing him to sit on the bench in his street clothes and watch. Additionally, the WNBA lost one thing because of her absence. Its top draw was something it couldn't afford to lose. A midweek game in the middle of nowhere can become a national event thanks to Caitlin Clark's skill. The exhilaration vanished when she wasn't on the ground.
But there is the part of me that's like, is this really necessary? And shouldn't Angel Reese be able to market herself at this point without invoking or even, insinuating some sort of attachment to Caitlin Clark? Because if I'm being honest about it, people say that moment, and that moment was huge. It will live forever. That moment will live forever. But Caitlin Clark was on this trajectory already. And if anyone has benefited more from the attachment, at least from an attention standpoint.
And the figures are harsh. With 3.44 million viewers, the 2024 All-Star Game broke previous records when Clark played. It was a cultural event rather than merely a game. In 2025, when Clark is absent, the show's viewership plummets to 2.19 million. That represents a startling 36% decline in viewing. Additionally, it took place in Clark's hometown of Indianapolis. Taylor's attempt to take advantage of her presence totally fell apart when she was unable to participate.
So the WNBA's All-Star Game went down 36%. That is a lot. That's more than a third from last year. Last year was over 3.4 million people, and it went down to 2.1. Now, you could say is a success. Yeah, for women's sport, that is still a lot of people. But at the same time, it really isn't a success, because think about it. It's the only sport playing. It's the only game that's going. And you only could draw that. So, and this is with all the stars. Remember, guys.
Reese had to observe her entire campaign unfold in front of her. They have lost over half of their worth. Even scalpers were unable to save it. Without the one person they genuinely cared about, fans weren't lined up to attend an all-person event.
But the WNBA All-Star Game ratings have come out, and all I could think of right off the bat was 4 little letters. F-A-F-O. F around and find out. You bleep around and find out what this league looks like without Caitlin Clark being involved in your biggest events. Kathy Engelbert, this should be a perfect example of why you need to get your officiating cleaned up, and you need to have a talk with your players in the league.
And Reese's tone-deaf I'm in your city campaign perfectly captured the gaffe of it all. The idea was audacious and perhaps haughty. She launched the campaign around Indianapolis as though announcing a conquest of territory in another person's realm. Here's the catch, though. Clark wasn't even getting dressed. Because of her injuries, she was unable to protect her city. Reese didn't appear brave because of that. While the true queen was momentarily removed from her throne, it gave her the appearance of someone attempting to usurp a crown.
Angel Reese All-Star Weekend Edition! How about it? Let's get it! Hey, you know what they say? 4 is more. Bang! Her loyal fans showed out in Indy, all 4 of them, and somebody's drunk uncle. Take a look at what unemployment looks like. Bang! What do you mean you didn't watch the All-Star Game? You're telling me you have a social life? What? What's butter pecan mean? It's provocative. It gets the people going. Butter pecan! Bang!
The campaign was widely publicized. Dominance is shouted via billboards, internet advertisements, slick movies, and eye-catching captions. Even Instagram videos that Reese shared were captioned, "I'm in your city," and employed expressions such as "step into your trap," "take control of your trap." There was no real opposition to overcome, but it was a full-fledged takeover attempt.
You can barely dribble. You miss layups on purpose, and they record them as me-bounds. Rebounds. You be stat padding. You don't elevate your players. You went to a stacked LSU team. You hear me? My precious CC owns you. You want to know the record? She is 5-2 against you. You beat her in college one time. That championship. But what happened to the year after that? She sent you home. You hear me? And waved to your coach. You hear me? At the end of the day.
And fans weren't even slightly duped. Critical comments flooded social media. She can't even sell her shoe without piggybacking off Caitlin Clark, someone wrote on Twitter. More photographers than fans at this launch. LOL, said another. It sounded like someone celebrating a forfeit, as though it had been a fair battle. It doesn't make you a winner to try to win against someone who wasn't even in the competition, Victor. You just come out as desperate.
WNBA All-Star Weekend is supposed to be the star of all stars. All the big dogs is out. Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, everybody's out. The big dogs are out. You got the rookie, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here. And look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing.
Let's stand back and fully explain this. Everything was set up for success for Angel Reese over the All-Star Weekend. She was in the alleged queen of the time, Indianapolis. She was debuting her own Reebok signature sneaker. Her advertisements were all throughout the city. Her social media team was working nonstop. Additionally, the marketing machine was putting in extra effort. However, there is no buzz, no genuine excitement, and crickets.
Fans sent a blatant message. A shot across thou bow. All right? And your ship, well, without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA and all their pay us what you owe us action, that action will sink. That action will sink. Woo! WNBA All-Star Game sees ratings drop without Caitlin Clark, and it's ugly. It's real ugly. Who is this?
By casually ignoring the elephant-sized number from 2024 and comparing the 2025 All-Star viewing to the 2023 total of 850,000 as a success, the WNBA even attempted to manipulate the fallout with a cunning public relations maneuver. When everyone could see through the smoke curtain, even though Caitlin Clark was the main attraction. In actuality, they were stating that, in Clark's absence, they had reverted to their pre-relevance levels of interest and niche status. And if you needed further evidence, check out what happened on Friday night. 1.32 million people watched the three-point competition and the skills challenge, which was almost twice as many as the previous year. Let's face it though, those weren't Angel Reese fans watching. The Caitlin Clark aftershock was still present. People watched in the hopes of seeing the player who made all the difference.
There's no comparison between y'all two. You hear me? And she has a $28 million Nike deal. Nike is better than Reebok last time I checked. And Angel, me bound pray up Reese. Last time I checked, you said Indianapolis was racist and they was dangerous. Why did you show up? Because you could have just watched from the crib. You hear me? So let me tell you this. Please stop associating my precious Cece with the trap. She don't know what a trap is. At the end of the day, she might know what a rat trap or mouse trap is, okay? But anything else other than that, please do not. No, we not gonna do that.
For Angel Reese, it wasn't just lousy timing that was the issue. It was an inability to comprehend the true nature of star power. She examined Caitlin Clark's possessions. Many headlines, a Nike sale that was so successful, sold-out sneakers, and the realization that I can do that, too. She believed she could duplicate the demand after witnessing Clark's Nike Kobe 5 Pro drop sellout in less than 60 seconds, with resale prices skyrocketing above $600 for a sneaker that retailed for $190. However, this is what she failed to understand. The brand of Caitlin Clark is not about gimmicks and logos. The issue is earned loyalty. Advertising campaigns are the reason why her admirers don't come up. They come because they have faith in her. Years of top-tier play, sincere interviews, clutch plays, and unwavering love for the game helped Clark earn that trust. Thus, when Nike gave her the $28 million, 8-year contract, it was more than just a salary. An investment in a once-in-a-generation figure was made. Experts estimate that her 2026 signature sneaker might bring her between $100 and $150 million. Furthermore, wishful thinking is not the basis for that projection. It is based on actual data, crowded arenas, elite ratings, and a relationship between players and fans. It's more powerful than before. Now contrast that with Reese's All-Star Weekend Reebok release. At best, the reception was quiet. With all the flair Reebok could manage, her Angel Reese one fell. But there was just no thrill. The rollout didn't feel brave, and the public hardly batted an eye. It was needy.
So one of his genius decisions was this. Signing her, Angel Reese. If you don't know who she is, she's the queen of like fish out of water going after a rebound that she shot herself and can get in the net ever. She reminds me of a 3-year-old shooting on those little kids' nets and throwing the ball and just completely missing the mark and like scampering back to get the ball and then shooting again real fast and it just doesn't come anywhere near the hoop. That is, if you haven't seen her play, that's what it is. Put that image here, that is her.
The problem seems to be understood even by Reebok's own management. There was an unintentionally revealing moment in Shaquille O'Neal's Netflix documentary series Power Moves. Shaq was overheard stating that, particularly when competing against Caitlin Clark, Reese needed to be fully outfitted in Reebok apparel. Translation: only when Clark is present does her brand really shine to frame. It's a harsh reality. Reebok was openly planning how to make Ree relevant by associating her with a person she is frequently compared to, rather than marketing her as a standalone star. The appearance of independence is totally destroyed by this type of behind-the-scenes commentary. Angel Ree wasn't being lifted. It had to do with taking advantage of Caitlin Clark. Ree posted a less-than-subtle statement on social media after the All-Star celebrations ended on Sunday night. Because of the players, I had the most fun I've had in a long time. I want to thank all of you. Let's get back to the regularly planned program. Players wearing all caps appeared to be a barely disguised dig against the. Ironically, the Indianapolis fans had treated her with a great deal of courtesy throughout the weekend. After a weekend that had obviously not gone as planned, it was a strange message to send.
Man, look, I don't know what the Reese was thinking. She wanted her shoe that just came out a couple months ago that cost $1,000. Now, look, I'm all for athletes getting a shoe deal, having their design, specified, perfect shoe that's significant to them and to other fans. But $1,000 for a shoe, love, I love you. I really do. But you definitely been on some shit. Like lately. I'm not going to lie to you. You have. But $1,000, no.
But no, $1,000. However, the harm was irrefutable by that point. Ree had attempted to use All-Star Weekend as her own commercial, relying on high TV ratings and anticipation generated by Clark to boost sales of her shoe launch. However, she received a harsh dose of reality and instead of pyrotechnics. Her aggressive, "I'm in your city" messaging came off more as a desperate campaign than a self-assured power move, and viewership and enthusiasm declined. What we saw wasn't merely a failure in marketing. It was a complete revelation of how little some people know about what real influence looks like. Caitlin Clark's strong marketing does not draw in admirers. Because she draws admirers, she receives effective marketing. In contrast to Ree's apparent perception, the cause and effect chain operates in reverse. When Clark sells out an arena, it's not because her performance is advertised on a billboard. The reason for this is that her supporters are already waiting in line. It's not due to a brilliant promotion when her sneakers vanish in a matter of minutes. The reason for this is that her audience takes a personal interest to her path. Reese's all-star approach shown that she completely missed this. She believed that with a few ostentatious ad purchases, a memorable tagline, and some audacious actions in Clark's hometown, she could generate demand comparable to Clark's. However, it is not how star power operates. You can't wear it as a costume. It is developed gradually, created during tremendous times, and solidified by humility and constancy. Without laying the groundwork, Reese desired the outcomes. And it was evident. Her campaign did not simply end. It demonstrated the difference between those who are already famous and those who are attempting to become so.
She is so bad that when Caitlin Clark and her were supposed to face off against each other the other week, the ticket sales went down from $100 to like $5 because Caitlin Clark got injured. She had a quad injury, so she wasn't playing. So guess what? No one wanted to go watch And if you don't know Caitlin Clark, she's pretty much the GOAT of the WNBA and is the reason why people are watching. No one watches you, Angel Reese. No one watches you. The only thing that I enjoy watching is all the clips on TikTok of you just countlessly just missing every shot that you take.
Neither Angel Reese's billboards nor her shoes will be remembered from the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game. It will be remembered for the consequences that arise when a league loses its star player, even for a short time. One thing was evident from the 36% decline in ratings, the sharp decline in ticket prices, and the general shrug from the audience. Clark is the star, not merely one of many. Additionally, the product suffers when she is not playing. For a period, Angel Reese discovered a difficult yet important lesson. Attempting to market yourself by tying your company to Caitlin Clark's brilliance is not only futile, it is also clear.
Supporters are not stupid.
They are able to distinguish between people who are acting and those who are not. And at this moment, authenticity is crucial. The figures are honest. The audience for the broadcast is honest. The demand at the theater is honest. And that became quite evident this past weekend. Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the WNBA's excitement, momentum, and future. While Angel Reese is a multifaceted person, Caitlin Clark is not. If we learned anything from this All-Star weekend, it's that attempting to act otherwise will only result in failure. Attempting to replace someone that fans genuinely care about won't win them over. Furthermore, you never take over a city that was never yours in the first place. Baby goat over baby giraffe. A comment below. If you're riding. To ensure you don't miss anything, like, subscribe, and enable all alerts with CC. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.